Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Doug with News and Views by Doug. And today is Saturday, June 6th, the 82nd anniversary of the D-Day Normandy invasion from World War II. And this is where I give my observations and opinions on world events, politics, and pretty much anything else I feel like talking about. And today's going to be one of those days when I talk about something that I just feel like talking about. So, the only thing news wise, there's nothing coming out of the Persian Gulf right now. But the FBI raided the Los Angeles voting, I'm not sure what to call it, registration office. And it just is weird that there's all these mail in ballots being arriving late. I mean, the voting ended on Tuesday, and all those ballots should have at least been to the Los Angeles office by Wednesday. But here it is, yesterday, Friday, they were still arriving in mass. So the FBI is involved now with investigating any voter fraud. And people online, because there's not a lot of education out there, they're all saying, well, this is a state issue. This isn't a federal issue. Well, you kind of forget these ballots are being mailed in, which makes it the federal post office. So yes, the feds do have a right to investigate any fraud. So anyways, they raided the offices yesterday in Los Angeles, and we're going to find out exactly what's going on. But today, D-Day, these men are our greatest generation here in America. These men went into combat at the ages of 18, 20 years old, and older. And they fought the Second World War. And today, 150,000 soldiers, the anniversary of today, 150,000 soldiers, airmen, naval personnel, went into Normandy, France. 150,000 invaded, along with Allied troops. In the D-Day invasion, the United States lost over 2,400 men, and in combination with the Allies, a total of 4,400 were killed. And a lot more, I think it was over 10,000, either killed, wounded, or missing in action. I mean, these kids they went to hell. And they came back. They freed Europe, and then over on the Pacific, they freed Asia. Now, what's interesting is our enemies then have become our allies. And our allies then really aren't our allies anymore. China turned on us. We freed China. The Japanese had them, and we freed them. And NATO's not backing us in this war with Iran. They're not helping. President Trump has said he's going to pull troops out. He's going to pull the resources out of Europe and let them fend for themselves. Now, the one thing I will say about the people is that there's American military cemeteries throughout Europe and throughout the world where men that died during the Second World War are buried together, from generals to privates, and they're buried next to each other. In Belgium, there are citizens of Belgium that they clean the cemetery. They clean the headstones. They take care of the grass, the weeds. And they have people on waiting lists that when one family either can't do it anymore or decide they want to, not do it anymore, there's a waiting list of Belgian citizens waiting their turn to take over a gravestone. In France, the French remember our troops, World War II. But when it comes to the politicians, screw the U.S. We went into Europe twice. My grandfather, on my dad's side, fought in World War I. And I have a picture somewhere in his doughboy uniform. And he went to France and fought against the Germans. My father was in the Korean War and served during the Vietnam War. And, again, the greatest generation. Now, I'm going to show you a video of a man that he was a man. I mean, he was a real man, but you would never know it because he never spoke about it. He was a high school teacher of mine, Mr. Tom Rice. And he was the hardest teacher I ever had. And I had him every single grade in high school, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And he was hard. He taught U.S. history and civics when they still taught civics in high school. And he didn't play games. I had a beautiful young girl sitting behind me when I was in high school. Her name was Debbie Wolf. And she was very exotic. She was Dutch Moroccan and white mixed. And I just loved her. And I remember my senior year, she sat right behind me and I just kept turning around and talking to her during class. And Mr. Rice was up at the chalkboard teaching. And next thing I know, I got one of those chalkboard erasers up against my head. I turned around and he had thrown it and he had a second one in his hand getting ready to throw it at my head again. And he goes, Mr. Aguilard, shut up. Turn around and shut up. Yes, sir, Mr. Rice. No clue what ever happened to Debbie. But Mr. Rice was amazing. His history is that he jumped into Normandy with the 101st Screaming Eagles. And he saw combat, went into Bastogne, battled the Bulge, where he was wounded several times. And these were serious injuries. One of his fellow soldiers was able to pull him to safety after he had been shot 4 times. And he was taken to a hospital and eventually taken to England, where the doctors told him they were going to send him home because his injuries had just been too serious. He refused. And one day the doctor came in to look at him and he was gone. They found him in another room and he was ironing his uniform and refusing to go back home to the United States. Didn't want to leave his boys behind. He went back into combat, and he was in the Battle of the Bulge. Horrific. He got out of the Army, and he went in when he was 20 and became a teacher in the Sweetwater Union High School District, and he taught forever. Now, here's the thing about Mr. Rice. You never would have known he was ever in the war. He never spoke about it. Never said he was a veteran. Never said he fought in World War II. And again, this is a man who taught world history, U.S. history, civics. He just didn't talk about his experience. Well, when Mr. Rice turned 99 years old, he jumped out of a plane on the D-Day anniversary and he jumped over Normandy. 99 years old. At 100 years old, he jumped out of a plane again for his birthday. And he landed on the beach in Coronado in front of the Hotel Del. Now, when I was working as a photojournalist, I went to go interview Mr. Rice when he was 99. And they had him set up in a chair outside his house. And people were just doing drive-bys, honking their horn and waving at him. And Mr. Rice was sharp. I've seen interviews with him where he's in his late 90s and even 100. And he was sharp. His memories were there. He knew everything. He didn't forget a thing. And he died at 101. And honestly, one of the greatest men I had ever met. My brother didn't think that. My brother had issues with him in high school. But to me, Mr. Rice is a true American hero. To all those men that went into war, to the greatest generation we've ever had, thank you. Thank you for what you did. So I'm going to show you a video of an interview with Mr. Rice. And it's not really that long, but, I hope you stick around to watch it. And I will leave you with this. I really hope that you will be safe. Go to safe places. Keep your eyes out and look around. If you see something, say something. Our country is turning into a very violent place. And it just seems like there's no accountability. So anyways, folks, again, today, December 6th, the anniversary of D-Day, 82 years ago. And it was our grandfathers. If you're as old as I am, I'm in my 60s. So it was our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers that went to war. But Mr. Rice, thank you. You folks take care of yourselves and please be safe.
This morning we're remembering a local World War II hero who captured the hearts of so many Americans. Tom Rice passed away at the age of 101.
Profiled him many times here on CBS 8. Dana Marie McNichol live in Coronado with a look back at his life and his service. Good morning.
Good morning, Eric and Etta. That's right. We've gotten the pleasure to really know a lot about Tom Rice's life. So many of his accomplishments will be remembered, but one specifically is one that so many of us got to experience. At the ripe age of 100 years old, he jumped out of a plane and landed on the beach just a couple of feet away from me here in Coronado. Now, I do want to show you some of that video because it's you have to see it to believe it. It really is that remarkable. So this jump marked his 100th birthday. He also jumped out of a plane to commemorate D-Day the year before, in 2019, excuse me. So he's no stranger to that. We spoke to him about how he prepares for something like this. He shared with us that it's all about getting his muscles strong with CrossFit here on Coronado. He trained 2 years for that jump. A birthday party was held for him, of course, here at the Hotel Del. Now, he's known as a hometown hero, a World War II Screaming Eagle legend of the 101st Airborne. Those close to him described him as a charismatic, charming, funny, humble, as well as an amazing teacher. In 2019, the Chula Vista City Council declared a Tom Rice Day to honor his service during World War II, as well as recognizing his service to the students. He taught at Chula Vista High School.
He taught at Hilltop High School.
Some of Rice's former students were even there cheering him on. We spoke to him after this special declaration.
I'm stunned physically and emotionally. It's over the top. Never have I ever been in such accolade of humanity in my life that I've been so appreciative of things that I did not do, should have done, or would not have done.